the title of the exhibition is Document, Gibraltar as Subject. And I've chosen document because it pretty much sums up the background of all of my work to date, where I'm interested in how we form historical documents and how we treat them and read them once they've been placed and put in a position of heightened importance, so to speak. So, so that's the document element, and then I've gone down the Gibraltar as subject path because we are in Gibraltar, and that's what's fascinating me at the moment.
Now, there's varying definitions of what conceptual art is. What does it mean to you?
To me, conceptual art is where you have approached the artwork with an idea. So you have a concept in your head and you want to convey that to your audience, but from the beginning you don't necessarily have a plan as to how you're going to do that. It's purely the idea. And so you find yourself going down a path of different materials based on how best to get that message across. So that might be, for me, it's been video, sound recordings, pin maps, which are quite predominant in my work at the moment. And in a few cases drawing, but I'm not painting at the moment with this sort of subject.
How different from start to end, what you might well end up with?
I would say extremely different, actually, because in the case of my pin maps, that thought has been developing over a decade, I'd say. Initially at university, I approached it by, I followed myself around Leeds over the course of a week and produced maps for each day, and I set that inside a resin block. And I've never been able to revisit that because I've never had the access to the tools to work with resin. It's because we have technicians at our disposal back at university, so it was a lot easier. But I've tried to reproduce it with layered tracing paper or layered overhead projector sheets, which I did some work for a friend a couple of years ago where I followed her family around and, well, didn't follow them around as such, but they plotted it on a map for me and I layered it for an artwork. And I still felt that something was missing, and it was only at the start of this year that I finally resolved the idea with these pins and putting cotton around and plotting those on maps that I feel it completed. So an idea can sit with me for a long time before I resolve it.
And when people walk in and see this work, what's the response do you get? Because it's not like your everyday art that you go in and it's either pleasing to the eye or, it's just a very different way of portraying something that you want.
I get very varied responses, actually, and I quite like that. For example, children in particular might run up to the work and be very interested in the materials that are in it and like the visual effect, but they're not going to be reading the title and trying to understand it. And I'm fine with that. I quite like that there are these different levels. It's not essential that the work has me to explain it, otherwise it fails to a degree. But I'm looking forward to being able to talk to people about my ideas and how they receive it.